Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right, well, this one sent in from Sam in New York, right? And it's about a fire that happened, right, in a really... Do you know, like in New York, they have loads of big buildings, don't they?
Yeah.
Right, really, really tall ones.
Skyscrapers.
And stuff. Yeah. And there was a fire in one of them, right? So they did as expected. They called up, fire brigade and that. They turned up, right? Fire engine parked up. It's like, right, where's the fire? And they said, oh, it's on like floor 100 or whatever. And they said, oh no, we've brought the fire engine with the short ladders.
Stupid mistake, but go on.
Right. So anyway, so the fire's going and that, and they're saying, is there anyone in there? They go, I don't know, there might be someone up there, but the telecom's not working and stuff.
Who do you think might be up there, Rick?
I don't know. But
just a woman, I imagine, just a woman or a child.
Is there a fireman that could climb up a building at all without a ladder?
I think it's unlikely, but go on.
Go on.
So anyway, so they said, well, how are we going to get up there?
Yeah. We can't.
But they've only brought the short ladders.
No, we can't. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Okay, that was monkey news.
So they said, well, there's a lot of like grippage.
Because they made up words, the firemen, the NYPD firemen.
There's a lot of grippage
on the side of the building and stuff. So anyway, they said, why don't we just go and get a monkey, right? So they got a monkey.
That's a bit of a jump.
Is that policy now in the New York Fire Department?
Well, you've got to think quick, haven't you? At the end of the day, if people are up there, you don't start querying if it'll work or not. You try everything that you can to help someone out, right?
That's the first thing I thought of, was it a monkey?
So it was quicker for them to go and get a monkey than to go back and get the long ladders.
Why don't they get
fair enough.
Why don't they get Spider-Man?
Yeah, call Spider-Man.
Yeah, call Spider-Man.
So anyway, so they got a monkey down there, and they said, right,
where'd they get it from?
We don't know, from the local zoo or something.
Oh yeah.
So they said, look, let's we've got to remember there could be someone up there,
right.
And it'll shock them a bit if a monkey comes in, right?
Yeah.
So they said,
yeah, I don't think they'd care. Their building's on fire, they're not going to go, oh, it's weird, there's a monkey at the window. They'd be screaming, save me! Oh, there's a monkey. So where are you from then?
So they said, right, we'll just get it a little small uniform and that, the smallest you've got.
But hold on though. Actually, where are you going to get that? I'm going back to the station. We'll get the long ladders while you're there.
No time.
No, I bought the small uniform, I just didn't bring the long ladders. You're an idiot!
So anyway, it goes up there, it's got all the kit on and what, it's got its little harder on and all that. It grabs, there was like a little person up there, manages to grab that.
Who was up there then?
It was just
someone that was just the right size for a monkey to be able to rescue, which is handy. Because if it had been anyone else, like a larger person or a family, we'd all be screwed.
No, I don't know about the size of it, but it's just the story saying how like it was quite a big monkey and that it was good at breaking down doors.
Oh yeah.
It was good at climbing into small spaces and stuff like that. Anyway,
so it's big enough to carry a fully grown man, but small enough to climb through a cat flap.
Yeah,
sure.
So
which is handy.
So anyway, it managed to get
Did it have the boots on as well?
It got the person and everything, and now it says it's sort of it's on call if they ever need it again.
Sure, and if they ever get anywhere again and they've forgotten the long ladders, but there's plenty of grippage, they just call for Coco.
So that's this week's monkey news.
Yeah, it's monkey news time.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, yeah.
Right. Last week we talked about the one who was good at getting up buildings and that for putting out fires and stuff. Ended up working for the fire department.
Yeah, not true, but
sure. Yeah. But if the building had good grippage, he was right up there.
Yeah, it's not true, but go on.
So this week anyway, it's more about tall buildings and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was this bloke who was a builder.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you know what builders are like? They sort of move about, don't they, from sort of building to building, just building.
Well, yeah, once they've built it, the building's done, and they move on to build some more.
Building to building, just building, yeah.
So he goes to his next job and that, right?
Who does, the builder?
The builder.
Yep.
He goes to, like, the boss,
new building.
the boss of this building, who's building it.
Right, okay, yeah. And he says what unto him?
Do you need anything building?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he says, yeah, there's plenty of work and that going about.
Yep.
He says, we're working on this one here. He said, get going on it, like, there's your bricks and your cement and stuff, get on with it.
Yeah.
Any plans? Just build.
Just start building.
Yeah. Go up.
They're getting on with it and stuff, it's all going well.
Yep.
But he notices that there's someone working high up, right, on the top bit.
Sure.
Because do you know, like, there's girders and stuff on these big buildings.
Yeah.
And he's still building the bottom bit,
and
which
he's
is weird.
Yeah, well, that's the way they do it there apparently, just to sort of speed it up, work from top to middle, from top to bottom.
Sure, that's in imaginary land.
We
So
put
anyway.
the spire on, and we better do the foundations,
Yeah.
and then put some stuff in the middle to keep it up there.
So anyway, he's saying to like the other workers, he's going, who's that up there?
Who's that up
Like,
there?
He's working on his own.
The little fella, was he?
And,
The little hairy fella up there.
He's the little hairy fella up there with the hard hat.
and the other fellas were going, look, don't ask questions, the boss decides who he takes on. We're happy to be getting paid here.
Don't ask questions! Well, I'll see him when he comes down.
So he said, well, it's pretty impressive, the work rate he's doing, the way he's getting from one girder to the other.
Swinging, is he?
He doesn't seem to be scared of the heights or anything. He said, no, just let him get on with it, we work well as a team. So anyway.
What nonsense is
So-
this?
so-
He believes all this.
Yep.
So he sees the boss and he goes, that fella up there, who's the fella up there? He's pretty good. And he's like, look, just get on with the job. Yeah, I'll pay you. Let's just all get on with our jobs. That. Lunchtime comes, they're all sat there, sat on a little wall having the sandwiches. He's thinking he'll come down in a bit. He's just carrying on.
Is he just still going?
Still
Yeah.
going on that, right? So the fella says to the boss man, he says, isn't that fella up there going to come down and join us for lunch? He said, like I said, mate, don't worry about him, right? He
He's
said,
very
"Look,"
secretive. I'm suspicious about this fella. I don't know.
Yeah,
why,
I don't know.
I don't know why he's working through his lunch. I don't know why he's not scared of heights. I don't know why he's swinging from girder to girder. It's weird. Go on.
So he said, oh, anyway, you've reminded me that he's up there. He said he's doing a lot of riveting and stuff up there. He probably needs some more nuts to...
Right, sure. And what kind of nuts is that? Is that nuts to food or?
So he said, what, nuts? He said, yeah, just there's a bag full of them there. Just put them on the hook, send them up, and he can get on with his job. So anyway, he picks these nuts up,
Nuts,
right?
yeah.
Just hooks them on. He thinks they're not that heavy,
No.
considering, they're normally pretty heavy, aren't they? Like nuts
big
and
bag of
bolts and
nuts,
stuff.
yeah.
So anyway, he has a little glance in.
Oh, no, what's in there?
Nuts.
What, you mean nuts that you can eat?
Nuts that you can eat.
Oh.
Right? So they send the bag up, and he's thinking, what's all that about? He checks him out, he starts to stare, works it out. You can see that he's a little chimp running about. So he goes, I'm not happy with this.
Why
So-
isn't he?
Because he's working for an organisation that's, there's unions for this sort of stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, he's not going, that's amazing. They've got a chimp riveting this building together.
Yeah.
That's not scary. He's wondering if they're breaking union rules.
So he
You don't
goes,
have to talk
So he goes and has a word with
he
the boss.
goes to the boss and he goes, look, I've worked out what you're playing at here.
Yeah.
He said, all them out
Is the
there.
boss sitting in a tyre?
He said, all them lot out there might not be wise to what's going on here. He
Yeah.
said, but I've clocked it, and you're sending nuts up to it. It's a monkey, it's not on. So he goes, look, we're just all trying to earn a living here. He said, don't get involved in it. I'm happy to pay you, but I'm paying him. Don't interfere.
He's paying him.
And he's saying, look, I'm just not happy with this. It's not allowed. So the boss was saying, well,
We
to
pay
be honest,
peanuts, we get monkeys.
mate, he said, to be honest, mate, he's a great worker. He's known for doing what he does. He's a good grafter. If one of you's going to go, right, I'm afraid I'll have to let you go because
Blimey.
he's been here longer than that.
Yeah.
He was made redundant.
None of
because
that
the monkey.
happened.
He was laid off.
None of that happened.
He's laid off and that. And that's
No.
where that saying about, like there's a lot of tower blocks and that in America. It's like the chimp off the old block is where. So that's monkey news. Right, do you know it's nearly time for the Winter Olympics again?
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
They sort of come round every 4 years.
Is it this year, is it?
Yeah. And the last one that happened,
4 years ago, yeah.
there was a bit of an incident.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, I'd know about this then, because it would be
Well, it'd be
Well-
big news because it's a well-known...
televised as well.
Yeah.
It's,
Do you remember any winners that were monkeys? In any of the
no,
tournaments?
of course
No,
not.
No.
So,
Yeah.
it's
So
not
anyway-
going to be that, because it wouldn't be true. Go
Oh,
on.
yeah.
So anyway, one of the popular events, bobsleigh.
Okay, right.
It works.
Well, you
It's
need
like a
4
sleigh.
men. Is it 4 men or 5
4 men,
It's
yeah.
4. So it's definitely 4 men that you need
Needs
on
four
a
men.
bobsleigh team.
Is it, and there's two team bobsleigh as
But
well.
they're always men. Is that right, Rick?
Well, yeah, they have to be.
Anyway, so
humans.
Well, that's be humans.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
okay.
Winter Olympics for.
Yeah. So let me just clarify. With the Winter Olympics, you can't have any animals taking part.
No, and they also no, because they wouldn't be allowed. And two, there's no way they could disguise it because not only would they see it straight away, right, but they have blood tests
Right. Okay. So
which would show up.
So they definitely know if it was
Well, they have
any
blood
kind of
tests.
non-human.
It's impossible. It would be literally impossible to have anything other than a human
Taking
involved
part.
in a bobsleigh team.
Fine. Okay. So carry on.
So anyway, this country, I don't want to name them because they try to shake off this sort of, this bad news.
Oh yeah, and you don't know.
And
Because
it
it's not
didn't
true.
happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, the country was doing really well in the qualifying stages.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem was there was like 2 members
Mm.
who were getting all like the press and stuff,
Oh right, yeah.
and one of them never got a look in. right?
How tall was he?
Anyway, so this one member was getting fed up because the other two were getting all the press and what have you. So he said, I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
I'm jacking it in. So they were like, you're joking, we've qualified, we're getting into like the main race and everything. You can't leave us now. And he said, well, you could do it all on your own before, you know, the way you were acting and that, you didn't need me, so I'm going. So they were like, oh.
Well, they need to replace him because there's a certain amount of people needed.
So anyway, so the clock's ticking, it's getting close to the big race and everything.
Of course it is, yeah.
They're like, what are we going to do here?
The substitute they took with them.
What are they going to do?
Must have,
Yeah, they would take the substitute, so get him
No,
on.
they didn't have any of them and that. It's, you know, a lot of injuries and stuff.
Or just get a mate to do it, just get a mate or a friend or the coach to do it, yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of responsibility on these people and, you know, you won't want to let your country down and that. And they're like, what are we going to do?
Get a waiter or anyone.
Anyway, the time comes for the race. Seems to be 3 people on it.
There appears to be 3, okay, yeah.
They start off, they're whizzing around the track faster than normal. They're beating their old records.
Right, amazing.
Because the new fella they've got a little bit smaller.
Ah!
Right?
Is he in the bobsleigh or is he pushing?
He's in it.
Oh, right, okay.
Right?
He's wearing a uniform and a helmet, though.
He's got a helmet on, he's got the kit on. Nobody knows who he is, but the country's loving it.
Of course
They're like, well, it looks like we're going to break all our records, you know. Good, it's good that they found someone new.
Yeah.
Bet the other fella who left is sort of kicking himself, thinking, oh, I could have been part of this. Anyway.
This wasn't a bloke that had very short legs and long arms, was it?
Anyway, what happened is, they're whizzing round the track and what have you.
Faster than ever, yeah.
Faster than ever, and the press are like going, beating all records here. They started taking photographs. A lot of flashing. A lot of flashes from the cameras and stuff.
Right, of course.
Suddenly, the bobsleigh goes a bit sort of mental and whizzes off the track, right, into like all the tyres and stuff that they have for protective.
Oh, they love tyres, don't they? Bobsleigh members. Some of them sometimes you can find them swinging in one, or maybe eating a banana.
Ambulance comes rushing over and stuff. The other 2 members are looking pretty nervous for some reason.
Oh, what are they doing?
They're saying, look, don't take the helmet off because, you know, you can do more damage to the
well,
neck.
don't tell the paramedics how to do it.
They know their job.
Yeah,
they know their
yeah,
job.
yeah.
So they were like, just, you know, and plus, you know, he came in at last minute to help us out. He doesn't want everyone to know who he is. He's not after the limelight.
Yeah.
Like some of the members we used to have, but he just was helping his country out.
Yeah.
Leave the helmet on. Anyway, they get him in the ambulance and stuff. The other 2 are looking a bit worried and what have you. They're gutted, they lost the race.
The little bloke, is the bloke not saying anything? Is he not?
He's in the ambulance now.
Is he not saying anything though?
Anyway, word got out, right, from one of the ambulance drivers a few weeks down the line, once all the dust had settled on the Olympics and stuff, and light news day and stuff.
Yeah.
It was reported that one of the ambulance drivers said that on that sort of dreadful night, when, you know, the country lost out on a medal in the bobsleigh, he sort of reported that there was a monkey in the back of the ambulance. People were like going, you're joking.
I don't remember this.
Well, this is it, you see, because they sort of swept it under the carpet a little bit.
Right.
They were like, this is crazy talk.
Bullshit.
This is crazy talk.
Once talk, absolute shit. Where'd you get this from?
This is crazy talk, right?
It is crazy talk, and it's from the mouth of Karl Pilkington.
But the weird thing is that backed it up. Following week, there was a story of some people who visited the zoo, saw a chimp in a neck brace. And that's this week's monkey.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news!
There was this airline, and it's having a lot of problems, and a lot
What,
of
pilots too tall?
Yeah, the cabin was so tiny.
Only bananas were allowed in the cockpit for fuel.
Anyway, there was a lot of strikes going on, right?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it was about. It was over money or whatever.
Yes.
And
Well, get something that doesn't need money.
but
But what else could you pay something in,
Well,
Rick? I mean,
peanuts.
everyone would-
So-
okay, peanuts or fruit, yeah.
So anyway, the boss of the airline, he had like one pilot who he could trust, right? And that was his son.
Right.
But the problem is with a lot of these planes, you need 2 pilots.
Of course you do.
And he's like, if only I had 2 sons. But he didn't. There's no point harping on about it. Right?
Sure.
He runs an airline.
He runs an airline, yeah.
But how many pilots are there? Because there must be loads.
No, there's loads, but the problem is a lot of them are going on strike.
Oh.
And each week you can see that we're struggling here.
But how can they get... But it was just the pilots that were striking, was it?
Yeah, the pilots were striking, yeah.
So all the ground staff and luggage handlers and all that was okay, and the
They were fine. It's just pilots were not happy with the deal and what have you.
Yeah. Well, just close it down.
No way, you can't do that,
No,
Rick.
of course
you can't.
It's costing him a fortune if he closes it down.
Yeah, but what one plane's not going to make a difference in an airline, is it?
No, it's all the
It's all
planes.
the planes, mate.
Yeah, I know exactly. So if he's only got one person he can trust, knock it on the head.
No. What's the point? You've got to keep going. You can't just nip stuff in the bud like that. If you got a dream, keep it alive.
I know, but not with one plane and your son.
So anyway,
I don't know.
Well, but that's the least of his problems, Rick, because he's got his son who's a brilliant pilot. He's the only guy he can trust. But it takes two people to fly.
Well, you can't fly it then.
So the son, he's flying the planes and that. He's getting worried for his dad because of his business. It's falling apart. He's like, anyway, listen.
Well, one plane won't make any difference.
Don't worry about it. We've found someone who you can work with.
Okay.
And he's like, but I get past the picket line because, they know I'm your son anyway and they'll leave me alone. But any other pilot, they're going to start giving him grief.
They're tearing him to shreds, yeah.
He said, don't worry about it.
Unless he could swing over the heads of all the strikers.
He said he's staying over near the sort of quarantine area where all the animals are kept and stuff.
Okay.
They won't be looking in there. They won't bother.
No.
So he's like, all right.
There's no animal that could be a co-pilot, that's why.
I'll see you, he'll meet up with you in the cockpit.
He'll be having the cockpit, yeah, sure.
So anyway, he gets in there, he meets them. At first, a little bit of a shock who he's going to be working with, but
Why?
he's thinking, as long as I can keep my dad's business alive, I can
Not
keep
with
a
one
job.
plane. Not
So
with one plane.
anyway, what happens is, the strike's going on, he's flying, he's
Yeah.
got his mate with him flying, helping out.
Who's his mate? What's his
The
mate's
flights,
name?
the flights are brilliant, right? Everybody's loving them. They can't believe how smooth they are.
Sure.
The shares are going through the roof. Everybody's like wanting to fly.
This one plane they've got.
That wouldn't make any difference.
Everyone's saying, it's only a small plane, but it's worth getting on there.
And
if
it's
you
a
can.
small plane as
because
well.
it's a great
Oh,
experience.
gone under, I'd have thought. There's
So
no
anyway-
way they can keep that alive.
Apparently they can.
So they're keeping
Yeah.
this plane up in the air and what have you, and everybody's booking the holidays. It's almost like the favourite bit of the holiday. They're loving the flights that much.
Why?
Because it's really good flights.
Just
I
a
don't
great, just a great flight.
understand what difference
Apparently it's a great flight.
it makes.
It's
I don't
dynamite.
So
understand
anyway,
what difference it makes.
Everyone's happy. Then one day, what happens is a little bit of a problem.
Oh dear. You're not going to tell us that sort of co-pilot Coco he's not able to make it to work, is he?
Well, what happened is one woman who was on the plane got a bit peckish,
Right.
and said to the air hostess woman, said, "I'm a little bit peckish. Have you got any sort of nibbles and that?" She went, "No, I got a sandwich." She said, "I don't really want a sandwich. You want some, like the usual stuff that planes give out, just like a bag of nuts or something."
What, have they not given those out yet?
So no, they don't give it for some reason. She was like, "Look, we've stopped giving out the nuts. We can get you a
That's
sandwich."
strange,
And the woman's
yeah.
like, "I don't want a sandwich. I just want some nuts." Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
A sandwich is quite a big meal and what have you. I just want some nibbles, want some nuts.
Well, that's not available. Done. End of story.
Can't get your nuts. She said, "Well, why aren't there any nuts?" She said, "Well, the airlines had problems and stuff, and maybe that was one of the cutbacks. We've never took the nuts back on."
Yeah, sure.
So she wouldn't just leave it. She wanted the nuts, right? She's having a lovely flight and everything. She said, "I cannot complain about the flight. The
No,
flight
sure.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
Whoever's up there flying this plane is doing a
She's
dynamite
doing a
job.
great job, but I need some nuts."
Right.
Anyway, so the woman
There
said,
aren't any.
"There aren't
Very
any nuts."
demanding woman.
There aren't any.
It's a very demanding woman.
There aren't any.
Look, she's paid big money, right? She's probably in first class. She wants nuts, she's going to get
Nah,
nuts.
there aren't any. Leave it.
If she has to force her way into the cabin to get nuts, she's going to get
Well,
nuts.
she can't go there because she'll be shot. Because
So-
with the security problems and that, there's no way she could ever go to the cockpit. That would never happen.
So she said, "Well, you're saying there aren't any nuts." She said, "But earlier I saw you put a tray outside the cockpit, right? It had a sandwich on it, 2 Cokes and 2 bags of nuts."
Right.
She said, "So you're saying there aren't any, but the pilot's getting
Well, aren't they now? That was the last 2 packets. Done.
No.
Let's go
So
home.
so she's going, "You can't have any." No.
We know,
She goes-
we understand now there's a dispute
So,
over
so
nuts.
she said, well, I'll go and have a word with the pilot myself because you only put them out there a few minutes ago. You can't have eaten them
can't.
yet. I want
You
some.
say you
I'm
cannot
going
go-
over.
no.
I know this is it. This
Yeah.
is. She was saying you cannot go over. She's going,
No.
"Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because I feel like
you
I'm being
can't.
lied to."
No, you can't.
So she goes. So
No,
that's-
there's
and
no
the
way.
pilot can
Well, they
hear all
can't
this
get in anyway.
chat about the nuts and what have you, and he's thinking, "What's going on out there?"
Yeah.
He opens the door.
Yeah.
Right? She gets a glance in. Little monkey sat there with headphones.
Fucking bollocks.
Right. Ages ago. Right. About the 1950s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was this gangster knocking about. And do you know how, like,
Was he called Hairy Fingers?
do you know how, like, a lot of gangsters like to get into gambling and that?
Yeah, yeah.
And, like all these peers and that, all these mates who are like gangsters and stuff, they've all bought horses, right? Like they take racing and they make money from them and that, don't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, he
And
was like,
Chuckles the Seagull was no different.
and he was like, yeah, that's a good thing to get into. I might get into a bit of that, right? So he gets himself this horse, right? and there's a big race coming up. That's why he's a bit of a last minute.
And the jockey turns up and it's fine. He's a human jockey and it's fine. Excellent. Okay, well that was another podcast.
So anyway,
please listen.
Oh, hang on,
next.
there's more.
Oh,
hang
go
on. So anyway, this big race is coming up. He's like, I've got to be involved in this because
definitely.
I can make a lot of money out of my horse here.
Choose the jockey wisely then.
So he says to his mate, he said, look, I've got myself a horse and that. He said, we just need a jockey, get someone to sort it out and what have you, so I can get in this race.
Go to the jockey club.
His mate's like, yeah, all right, I'll have a word and that, have a look round and that, see if there's anyone decent.
And the good thing about jockeys is there's never been a shortage of jockeys because a lot of them don't make the grade. So there's always too many jockeys to go round.
Normally, always too many human jockeys.
Yeah, there's never a problem getting jockeys.
Fine.
Go on.
So anyway, he comes
Was that
back.
true in the 50s as well?
It's always been true.
Always been true. It's always just wanted to clarify
There's no lack of jockeys.
So
it's sort of close shot. People are trying to do it and they don't make the grade. So,
but in the 50s, from your knowledge, there was not like in 1951 a shortage of jockeys for just 1 year.
absolutely never. I've known about
Okay,
that.
fine,
I'm quite
yeah.
keen.
Right.
Go on.
So anyway, right. So his mate says, look, I'm having a problem getting a jockey.
Seems odd because
this
Ricky's
is
just
weird.
been saying
No.
he's just been saying there's not a problem.
What do you mean? So
Just because the main problem was,
Go on.
a lot of jockeys were aware of this gangster and were saying, I'm not getting involved with this guy. The chances are I won't get paid. You know, he's a gangster. It's not worth
you
it.
would do it if it was a gangster asking you. You'd be scared of the consequences.
So anyway, he's saying, look, don't be coming to me with problems and that, right? I've got the horse. I want it in the race. Sort it out. So they're like, oh, but boss, and he's like, don't give me any of that. Don't
exactly,
sort it out.
they do what he says. So any jockey would do it. Go on.
So anyway, so the day before,
The big race, yeah. Left it to the last minute, okay, but
yeah,
fine.
and he says, have you got a jockey then? They're like, yeah, but, and he's going, don't worry about it. Have you got a jockey? Yeah, but, and he's like, look.
He wants
what-
to say, sure, yeah.
So,
they were
he's saying, has he ridden the horses before and that? He said, well, yeah, he has, but mainly, and he's like, brilliant. And he goes, yeah, but mainly in like a circus.
in the jung
No, like in the circus and that. He'd worked with horses and stuff.
in the
apparently.
circus.
It's fine.
yeah.
So he's like, that's enough. That's all I need to know.
Well, they'd be too heavy because circus people
so-
are quite built, aren't they? They're
He said
a bit
so-
heavier than the jockey because the jockeys are about 8.5 stone.
He said, brilliant. Get him down there and that, right? Anyway, the race happens.
He didn't want to meet him beforehand, he wasn't worried
No
about
point.
it.
Not
No,
bothered.
no.
As far as he's concerned,
It's all sorted.
he's putting his money on it and what have you. Right?
Sure.
What happened is they were trying to make him put on the jockey outfit,
Yeah.
but for some reason it didn't fit that well.
Sleeves
And that-
too
it was-
short,
it was
legs too long.
It's that sort of problem.
Okay.
So they let him, wear his stuff that he wore in the circus and that, because it's comfortable with that. He's happy with it. Do you know what I mean? That's what he's happy with. Anyway, race starts and what have you. This horse straight out of the trap and that, high speed, right? This jockey's got a really big grin on his face. He's loving it, right? Everyone's cheering, going, "Who is this? Who's this jockey?"
Yeah.
It's amazing. Never seen him before, and yet look at him.
But they can see his face clearly.
Anyway, gangster's happy in that because he's won.
Well, I just want to say the crowd can see the jockey, can they?
What?
The crowd can. I mean, it's
Yeah, but
face
he's
not-
so fast and what have
The
you.
blur, it's a blur, it's all a blur. Rick.
He's good at it. I mean, apparently he was
Right.
close to falling off, and people were like, he's gone, he's a goner.
Right.
He's got such a good reach that he managed to grab hold
Oh,
of the...
Sure.
good reach. Oh.
And
Right,
well, they
so-
could tell he was smiling. They could tell he was smiling, but they couldn't see the detail of his face. Is that right? Just
well,
to clarify
it's
that.
just blur and that.
Sure,
just
but
saw
they could
big
tell he was
teeth.
smiling. Yeah,
yeah.
they knew he was happy.
At the end of it, do you know, like, the winner sort of rides around the crowd bit,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Sort of, show off and what have you.
Yeah,
And all the women are there, and do you know, like, women are all dolled up at these events.
sure.
They've all got big hats on.
Sometimes they got fruit on those hats.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Right.
One of the women,
In
one
the
of the
50s,
women,
particularly Carmen Miranda was very popular.
yeah.
one of the women had like you say, fruit and what have you on it,
Yeah.
a little banana.
Right. Some kind of
They're
Cuban
not real.
woman.
They're not real though. The hats. They're
not real fruit, is it?
No, of
Yeah.
course not. Never.
So
But I don't know
Really,
who. I thought they wore those sort of kind of Cuban
Yeah, but
entertainment
even,
shows. I didn't realise they wore them
yeah,
at
but
events.
even if it's like a big event, you might have a hat with fruit, and it's sort of joke, but it's fake fruit because it would
Yeah.
perish. It
well,
would.
this jockey didn't understand that. He'd never seen false fruit.
I don't understand.
But why did the jockey suddenly? Why was he so desperate for fruit? I don't understand.
So anyway, meanwhile, the gangster's collecting his 500 quid winnings.
Yeah.
Right, he's over the moon.
Yeah.
He kicks off because of this woman with the fruit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I still don't understand why the jockey would go.
Everyone noticed. Jockey, little monkey fella.
Oh, that makes sense. If he was a monkey, that would make sense.
Yeah.
What year was this? Because I want to.
It was 1950s, and that's where the saying comes from about, like in Cockney slang, 500 quid is a monkey. He sort of put, he put a monkey on it. Right, it was this
Monkey?
fella, right, who he had a problem with his eyes, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to the doctors and he goes, oh, I've got a problem with my eyes. And he goes, yeah, they're bad then, right? He goes, it was in America, you know, like how you have to pay for medical stuff and all that.
Mm.
And the doctor said, oh, if I fix them, it's going to be like 10 grand, right?
Mm.
He's like, but I haven't got the money, doctor. He goes, well, I can't help you then. You know, there's a lot of people with bad eyes like them. Can't do anything for you.
Mm.
So he goes, oh, it's getting worse. I can't do anything. So anyway, so he goes home.
Is that the price of human eyes, is it?
So he goes home, he's looking in the paper, right? And he sort of sees in the adverts at the back. And there's a little advert there saying cheap doctors, right?
No. Bollocks.
Oh no.
No.
So he's thinking, oh, maybe that's what I need, right? So he calls him up. Woman's there. She's like, wait, what can I do? He goes, I've got bad eyes and that. She says, oh, come in tomorrow, we'll sort them out. She's like, brilliant, I'll see you then, right? So he goes down there, and he says, right, you know, I can hardly see. My eyes have got in really bad state and what have you.
Right.
Need to have them sorted out. I don't know what you do, whatever you do,
Right.
I need
Now,
doing.
his eyes are so bad, can he see the doctors?
Not really,
Can't
sort
really-
of
he's
squinting
squinting.
and that, but, you know, so he's like, do I need to see the doctor to, you know, have a word and tell him what problem? She's like, no, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
Just,
No, I'd be comfortable if it's a...
just you know, just let me inject you, and we'll knock you out, and we'll get on with it. And
Get
it's
on,
like,
get the
well,
doctor in.
Can I just tell you something about chimps as well, just before you continue?
Go on.
You know, they don't have opposable thumbs.
Now,
which is
why
what-
are opposable thumbs useful? Rick?
Well, to grip something, to do anything like, you know, even simple stuff like writing, so let alone surgery. So without an
But
opposable
can I just
thumb-
check now?
Go on.
So if I was a doctor and I was doing any form of difficult surgery, would I need opposable thumbs?
You'd need opposable thumbs
To be a doctor,
And without
okay.
you couldn't do anything. You could.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Because the opposable thumb allowed something in our evolution called the precision grip.
Right.
So without that, you couldn't do anything.
I'm just glad they've got that cleared up. Thanks.
So anyway, so he's had the injection, he's nodding off and what have you, right? His eyes are sort of closing and that, he hears the door open, he sort of just sees this little fella coming in, he's like, hello doctor, and he's trying to like, make a chat with it,
Sure.
but like, he's just nodding off. No,
Just-
Oh,
he
never
or
call
she,
it doctor.
he or she.
These people have done 7 years medical
Deeply
training.
respected people.
How could you call it it?
So anyway, he thought, oh, it's weird he didn't answer, but you know, doctors can be quite moody, you know, they're highly intelligent, they don't need
Especially little hairy
well,
ones.
just idle chit-chat, there's no room for that, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm
Yeah,
here to do a job.
yeah, but you know, if I'm going in to have my eyes done, I want a little bit of idle chimp chat.
So anyway, time passes, right? He sort of wakes up and he opens his eyes, right? And it's brilliant. He can't believe it.
Eyes are perfect.
He's had the op. He can't believe the sight. He's like, nurse, right? And the nurse comes in because I can't believe it. This is brilliant. I've never had this such good sight. Do you know what I mean? Even when I was a baby,
Yeah.
and my eyes were new,
Yeah.
I didn't see this good.
Great.
So she's like, well, you know, that's
You realise the nurse is a panda.
that's what we do, right? So he said, right, so can I just see the doctor and just say thanks and that? She's like, well, to be honest, you know, he's specialised in what he does. There's a lot of
What a
work.
load of bollocks this is getting.
Please.
Where did you get this from?
No, come on, let's hear the end of the news.
There's a lot of like operations he's got to do.
Yeah.
So you know, leave him to it. He's just having a kip. You know, I'll let him know that you were grateful. You know, pays a check. Off you go. Go and enjoy looking at stuff.
Yeah.
So he said, no, just what's wrong with that? I just want to see that. Just
No,
like,
it's
no,
fine.
leave it. Just leave.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it. If
And
he
he's
says
like,
it's-
yeah, but I can't. You know, I want to thank him. So he's done such a good thing for me. So they're getting into a bit of an argument and what have you, and the voices are raising, right? Door
I'm
opens.
going to wake the doctor up.
Well, that's what they did. They woke it up, right?
They
So-
woke it.
So the door opens, right? Little monkey comes out,
Oh.
and he's like, "What's going on here? It's a hospital. Why is a monkey knocking about?"
Yeah.
So the woman said, "Well, what do you mean? He's the doctor." Right? So he's like, "You are having a laugh, aren't you?" She goes, "Look, don't complain. Your eyes are sorted.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor's done it. What's the problem?" He said, "Well, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have come here." She said, "Well, what do you mean you didn't know that?" She said, "The advert in the paper you read, it's like chimp doctors."
That is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. That really is the worst.
What? And because his eyes were so bad, he thought it said cheap doctors.
He saw the advert and it said chimp doctors, but because his eyes were bad, he just saw it.
What
as-
journal is this in?
It was years ago because it sort of says how the monkey sort of carried on working for a few years. He couldn't do anything
Then
about
just
it. He had to
retired to
leave
play
it.
golf.
It's absolute bollocks.
He's
There's
tried
no way. I mean, it's not even worth talking about.
So-
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's the most ridiculous monkey news you've ever heard, and that's saying something.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, you little round-headed.
Right, years ago, people only drank water, didn't they?
How long ago are we talking?
Going back a bit,
Okay.
and it was just the norm. Everybody was happy with that. It was kind of like, what, you're thirsty, have some water. It was just what you did. And it was more of...
Well, no, not only water.
No, it was. It was kind of like...
they drank milk at birth, didn't they?
Yeah, as a baby. But then you don't have that when you're older. What I mean is more now, as we've discussed, is more of everything. So
I thought there was fruit juices in...
Yeah, but what
stuff.
I mean, when people were thirsty, it was like, well, have water. They didn't go, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? I'm just saying they had it for a purpose as opposed to something for the taste buds. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so this town, right? It was in the middle of nowhere somewhere.
It's the detail that makes the story, isn't it? The pinpoint accuracy of detail. So it was a while ago, and it was in a town somewhere. Brilliant.
In the middle of nowhere.
And what used to happen is barrels used to appear, right? These sort of, do you know like how they have wooden barrels, that beer and that comes in?
Right.
One of those used to just be in this village, and everyone who lived there was used to this sort of drink that used to crop up, right? Well, because they were used to it, they didn't question it. It was kind of like, it's what happens if you live here.
Sorry, so I don't understand. So what's in the barrel? It's a barrel in the town square.
Well, it's this drink.
And so it's not water?
It's not water.
It's a mysterious other drink?
Well, I'll tell you now, it's like a fruit drink.
Okay.
And back then, I mean, I speak to my mum and she didn't have a banana till she met me dad. And they were made up of fruit.
Sorry, is that some euphemism?
I don't know what that means.
No, but what I mean is...
he came a-calling with a banana? No. With a bunch of bananas and some flowers?
No, but what I'm saying is, it was like a fruit drink, and for years and years, people didn't drink fruit. It was an eating thing. Do you know what I mean? It was an eating thing.
It was eaten?
Yeah,
what,
it was you're thirsty, have some water. What, you're hungry, have a banana, have an orange.
Sure, but the idea of combining the two, crazy.
They never used them in that way. So anyway.
So a mysterious fruit-based drink is turning up mysteriously in this town for years. No one questions it. No one thinks. They just think
it's in that area. I'm sure, like
Here come the lilt man.
No, but in the same way that in Scotland they'll have fried Mars bars and that.
Yeah.
They don't bat an eyelid at that. Yet when we go there...
Well, no, they didn't appear mysteriously, did
they didn't just appear one day.
I assume they go to the newsagents and take it home and pop it in some batter.
But what I'm saying is they don't think anything's odd about that. But as time goes on, people have started travelling more, haven't they?
Ooh.
And
you have.
Visitors sort of came in to the town. And they were saying, I'm a bit thirsty, have you got any water? And they were like, I don't have water. Have some of that in that barrel. And they were like, what's that? And they go, it's a drink. So they had it, and it was really, like, refreshing. They were like, what is this? And they said, don't really know, it just crops up.
Of course they did.
No.
It's what, it's what you get if you live here, it's part of living here.
Right.
So they were like, brilliant, do you sell this? And no, they don't just sell it, we don't even know where it comes from, just have some whilst you're here.
We don't even know where it comes from.
No.
So the thing is, this helped the town out.
That's before the monkey appears, this shit.
Yeah.
So all these people are enjoying the drink. Word gets out, and it went on for a couple of years, but they say it travels fast, doesn't it? If it's good news, it travels. If it's good news or bad news, it travels fast.
Yeah.
So news travels fast.
Yeah, just news. Yeah, news does. So anyway, so some
fucking monkey news doesn't. This has taken half an hour.
So some big business fella who was on holiday in
any specifics?
He was from Chicago.
Right.
Oh,
and he flew.
How tall was he?
Hold on though. So this is after Chicago was founded.
Right. Yeah, Chicago's knocking about.
Oh, they had loads of drinks then.
Yeah,
they had
alcoholic.
Coffee, tea,
alcohol.
They had every drink under the sun.
Yeah, but not like
every drink under the sun.
Not like
apple juice, grape juice, ciders, wines.
So he came in.
Oh, Chicago was founded. Then,
he came in.
Yeah, probably 19th century. Oh, there's loads of shit about.
And he was saying, this drink you've got here, he said, it's good stuff, you know. He said, whose is it? And they said, well, it just appears and what have you. And they said, well, that's a bit odd. So anyway, he got a bit annoyed with it because he wanted to take it back with him to Chicago. He knew there was an audience for this.
Well, yeah, because they got bored of tea, coffee, all the other drinks and
drinks and that, yeah.
So he waited at night.
They've been around for years.
Waited at night, waited behind a truck.
A truck? Oh, so it's...
so we're in a motorised age?
Oh, so at least 1890, something I'd have thought.
And he saw this little fella bring the barrel out.
How little was the fella?
It's hard to tell in the dark, and they were quite far away, and the barrels, you know, it's hard to work out.
He was short, his arms were long.
So they followed him in, right, and saw what was going on.
Okay.
Like how it was being made. And they said, you know what, we can have a go at making this ourselves. And what happened in the end, they tried to imitate it in Chicago. There was a orangey tang, right?
It was made by an orangutan, wasn't it?
And do you know grapefruit juice?
Mm.
They had like ape fruit juice that they were good at crushing the fruit with the feet and what have you. And that's how them two.
So it was great ape fruit drink.
Yeah.
Which probably got abbreviated over time.
Ape fruit juice.
No, it was great ape fruit drink. It was because it tasted great.
That is a load of shit, Carl.